Hello everybody, I'm Ravyn and I'm going to try and keep it brief today. My mouth is very dry. I have really dry lips right now, and I have sore taste buds, so I'm probably going to sound a little weird. Kind of probably sounds like I have a retainer, but I don't. It's just that my tongue is very, very sore. So I just kind of wanted to give a brief update. Merlin has shed for December. Might shed again by the end of the month. But Merlin's doing really good. Getting cold, so we had to put the heat on for a little bit, and apparently he got hot, so he actually came out to cool off. Yeah, that's kind of what we wanted. We wanted him to be a little more active. As far as what's been going on, we just finished an event this week where I was just going to keep reading chapters of Akhenaten's Gates until I recorded all 43 chapters. So I didn't edit anything for the time that I was doing that reading. So yes, now all 43 chapters have been recorded. Excuse me. Chapter 18, I think, was the last chapter that was uploaded on YouTube. I'm in the process of editing chapter 19 now. And so now it's actually pretty good that I finished, because like I said, my tongue has been really, really sore, and I'm waiting for it to heal. It's just been a mess. So now I can just focus on just doing the editing. And, I'm sorry for my hair being all crazy. I've been trying to get it to cooperate, but it just doesn't want to. But probably about time for a new haircut anyway. So yeah, I am on chapter 19 currently editing Akhenaten's Gates for Ravyn Reads Akhenaten's Gates. There's probably going to be a small hiatus after I finish the chapters and upload them all. I want to give everyone an opportunity to ask any questions or anything about the book, or want to talk about, discussions or whatever. I am going to kind of put forth now that I'm not as educated in the ways of ancient Egypt the way I was when I actually wrote the book. So definitely I'll do my best for what I can remember. At the time it was originally written, I did have a lot of education on it. I did all the math for it. I made sure I had all these resources that I would research. So at one time I did really do my research on it and wrote the first draft. I did that in high school at some point. And in 2007 decided it would be my first book to be published. Despite the fact that I don't consider myself an author of historical fiction as far as the main thing I do. I primarily do fantasy and dark fantasy of some sort. But I don't want to be in a particular niche, but that's pretty much what I prefer to write. But I will dabble, whatever story I want to tell, I'll dabble in other genres as well, if that's the story I want to tell. So yeah, historical fiction and spiritual adventure are the genres for Akhenaten's Gates. So yeah, I did all the research for the first draft, and then for the second draft, I focused more on writing. And all the writing I did, I went over and edited it over and over again. I did like 14 rounds, and I still find little mistakes. And I have to say, it's harder to find what mistakes I particularly made because I was reading the ebook version. And I want to say that if you are interested in reading Akhenaten's Gates, one, know that it is my debut novel, so it is written in a very weird way that I try not to write anymore. I'm not happy with the style. But at the same time, people enjoyed it. I've had several people read it or have it read to them and all that stuff, but they like the book in general. But I do want to warn that while I do hold the copyrights for Akhenaten's Gates, used a I used a vanity press, basically. Trafford Publishing is what I used. It was extremely expensive, and if I kept on with it, it would have been insanely expensive. There was a point in time where I just said, you know what, screw it, I'm not going to do anything else with Akhenaten's Gates. I'm going to cut my losses because I really want to focus on something else. I'm tired of focusing on this, tired of throwing money at it. And everyone seems to like it, that's the thing, it's just, I got tired of it. I didn't want to spend the next 10, 12 years just focusing on that book. There's other things I wanted to do. So if you do want to read it on your own, I would heavily suggest the paperback copy. And it's not just because, oh, it costs more so I get more royalties. No, it has nothing to do with that. I actually know, people don't always have tons of money to just throw around. So I actually don't mind if people buy ebook versions of my book. And I tend to, I like offering that as, ow, what are you doing? So I like to offer the ebook as a more affordable and more practical option. It's not so much about the money. I mean, is it about the money? A little. It'd be nice to make something, but I want to be able to share what I write and have people enjoy what I do. So it's more about that. It's more about it's just something I want to do. I was born to write. It's all I've ever really wanted to do. So that's more what I focus on. It wasn't even you in the first place, was it? It was something else. And by the way, no, I didn't get bit or anything. Merlin has some sharp itty bitty claws, and he's trying to hide in a warm spot. So he was scratching me up. So yeah, I would suggest the paperback copy over the ebook copy of Akhenaten's Gates, because I don't know what happened. The paperback copy is okay, there shouldn't be anything wrong with it, and it didn't seem like there was anything wrong with it the several times I've looked over it. Even just the layout was better. But, at the time, Trafford Publishing only offered paperback. They never offered ebooks. And it wasn't until a few years later, it wasn't until I don't know, I want to say 2010 or something like that, or 2012. I think it was 2012 or something like that. 2012 or 2013, that they actually converted it to an ebook. They finally started doing the ebook conversions. And I don't know what happened at all, but I look at the ebook copy and I just want to cry. It's like, how do you mess it up? You had the file, all you had to do is just open it in the format you wanted, But Trafford really kind of screwed up on the ebook, and it is very difficult to read the way it's supposed to be read because of how the layout is, and I'm just tired of messing with it. So it's like, I could go back and be like, hey, you screwed it up, but then I had to pay to get it fixed, and it's like, not worth it. I'd rather just tell everybody, just get the paperback version. Just get the paperback version. This will be like the one thing I tell you, usually it's like, you can do either. You can get the ebook, you can get the ebook paperback copy. It doesn't matter to me. I just want you to be able to enjoy it. But yeah, this is the one case where I'm just going to say, please, if you want to read it, just go spend a little extra money to get the paperback version so that you actually have a nice, clean book to read. You actually understand what the story is. You won't have to worry about the really strange lack of spaces, the weird punctuation. It's like, I did not do any of that. So yeah, I wanted to make that very, very clear for anyone who does or did buy the ebook copy. because I know that you're going to look at it and be like, man, again, you would think she'd get an editor or something. It's like, no, I mean, yeah, I did edit it myself, but I would never, ever, ever look at that. I would never look at the ebook the way it is and go, yeah, I'll sign off on that. I would be absolutely mortified. Heck, I didn't even do that. And I'm still mortified because it looks bad on me. It makes me look bad. Like I didn't even take the time to have any editing done. And that I was just so full of myself. And it's like, yeah, you're to a degree. I had that, but nowhere near to the degree that the ebook is. So yeah, the ebook is trash. I did not make all those mistakes. I did not screw up on the printing. I did not screw up on the spacing. I did not screw up on the punctuation or any of that. Heck, they have hyphenated words and weird setups, weird sentence structures, and I don't use hyphens. I use hyphens for some things, but I am not one of those people who are like, okay, well, say I want to use the word exciting. I wouldn't put EXIT dash, and then put I wouldn't do that. I would just move the whole word down a line. That's the kind of writer I am. So yeah, I wanted to make it very clear. That is not, the ebook copy of Akhenaten's Gates is not a reflection of my writing skill. That is atrocious. And I can't just, go fix it. Because like I said, Trafford is the host's publisher. They're the one doing all the work for it. I still have the copyrights, I still get the money for it, but everything I do is going to cost me money that I don't have. So it's not worth it. But all my other ones, all the other novels that I've published, I have control of what they look like. And if I see a problem in one of the books, as far as ebook, I can go back and fix it. Akhenaten's Gates was done in a time where, I didn't know any better. So I no longer, I have them somewhere, I just don't know where. I have the original printed manuscript. I have the original CD that I sent with the fonts and the images and all that stuff. I had the base layout where I would say where all the images went, and it was so complicated. Looking back on it, I'm just like, I cannot believe I figured out how to do any of that, because I don't have to worry about that with the other books. I just do it, and it's fine. And the more I do it, the more I realize how to do things easier and better. So yeah, I did want to say that. If I see a problem in my other books, it's like, if it's a problem, I would have the ability to go back and change it. Especially now that I've learned the almost exact layout. There are some things I still haven't quite figured out yet, but the basic overall layout is like, okay, well now I know where everything goes by using the correct measurements. Be like, there, of course you should know that. It's like, yeah, well I didn't think of that. And then one day I finally thought of it, so now I know. But I can't do that with Akhenaten's Gates, because I can't just hop onto the server, fix it, and be done with it. Oh, well, it won't be available for like 24 hours. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, with Akhenaten's Gates, I don't have that, because then I got to get in contact, and my publisher is actually not in the United States. It's in Canada. So yeah, I'd have to deal with talking to somebody in Canada, which costs me more money because, the long distance thing is like, yeah, I can call anywhere in the United States for free because that's my phone plan, but I can't call people in other countries because, it's going to cost more. So yeah, I have to worry about, okay, well, I have to pay extra money per minute because I'm talking to people in Canada. And then I got to find out if that person actually makes any sense because, the accents are so thick. And it's not even a Canadian accent. I'm not even talking about the Canadian accent. That's not the problem. I'm just talking about, like, pretty much like any call center, I can't understand what these people are saying. It's like, I don't know where y'all are from, but it doesn't sound like English is your first language. And, they may be smart, that's fine, but it's really, really difficult to understand. And if English isn't your first language and you're just not 100% in it, it's really hard to communicate what you want. And it's really hard to hear back what they're saying. So yeah, there was that issue. And then I had to worry about paying for the service. And it's like, it's so much money to just piss away. It's cheaper for me just to say, you know what, just buy the paperback book. Just go ahead and spend another couple bucks on the paperback version and just have a nice layout. And this way, you know, if you find something that's spelled wrong or used wrong, you can actually just go, okay, well look, this is actually the author's fault. And I am going to say that there probably are like really, really minor things. Like maybe I spelled like one word wrong or one or two words wrong and like later in the book or something like that. Or I know I misused the punctuation a lot. But also I also have to say that for anyone who watched our Sassy Stories, The History of Jack and the Beanstalk, you probably heard me say, this is why I wrote Akhenaten's Gates the way it was written. The sentence structure and the way the punctuation was used in The History of Jack and the Beanstalk was what I remembered growing up. You know, these really, really old stories that are really formatted weird. That's what I remember things looking like. And that is how the setup for Akhenaten's Gates was set up, you know. For the front quotes, I'd put a space, whereas an agent later said, no, don't do that. You don't do that. That's not how we do it anymore. Wasn't even anymore. It's like, no, you don't do that. I'm like, well, why the heck would I do that if that's just not how it works? It's like, oh, because in the old books, that was how it was written. So yeah, a lot of the stuff I did based on really, really old and outdated literature. So I don't do that anymore. I still catch myself every so often, but I always fix it. So yeah, I'm sure there probably are small mistakes in my writing that nobody catches. But they're mild, you know, they're so small. It's like, okay, well, you misspelled this word, or you didn't put a space on this word, or you put a space here or something, or you used the wrong punctuation. You know, I try to be very aware of what I do, but, you know, it happens sometimes, you know. I mean, I look at the stuff I do, I'm like, you know, at least I put a little bit more effort into proofreading than some of the online articles I see these days. It's like, dang, did you even proofread? What is that? It's like, I understand, you know, people will have a mistake every so often. It's like, okay, well, it happens. But to the extent that I see it on a lot of online articles and such, it's like, oh, it's cringy. I mean, if it was just like a small mistake, you know, or, you know, a couple small mistakes in the whole thing, it wouldn't matter, but yeah, they get pretty bad. They can get pretty bad. So I was like, I know that my work is better than that because I am a little more aware. And I have like 3 different ways that I edit back to back to back. So I get most of it. So I am able to fix most of it with very, very few major mistakes. And they're not even major mistakes, they're actually mild mistakes, you know. Like I think there was a spelling mistake, I think, in Akhenaten's Gates. I don't even remember what the word was. But even I was looking at it like, did I spell that right? And then I found another one where I actually, I put crowned prince instead of crown prince, which is a totally different spelling. And I was like, okay, well, I missed one, you know, little things. I don't think readers really mind the mild stuff. And I'm not saying that as, you know, I'm an author, I have an excuse. It's like, no, before I actually seriously decided to write, I was a huge reader as a kid, you know? I used to read all the time. So I would try and just soak in all these different things. And when I saw a mistake, it's like, you know, 1 mistake doesn't hurt, 2 mistakes doesn't hurt. It's like, it's small things. And then, you know, now that I do take some opportunities to read the books of others, and if I can get a hold of those people, like if we actually talk, you know, I can point things out that I see. But But I'm not one of those, I'm not one of those assholes that are like, yeah, you made a mistake. It's like, no, I'm going to say something. If it's small, I probably won't even say anything. But if it's something that I think, if it really sticks out, I believe there was one story I read where there was a misspelling for one word, and I had mentioned, if it was just like one mistake or two mistakes, I wouldn't have cared, but the fact the mistake was consistently made with the same word over and over and over again, and the word was very prominent in the story altogether, I remember saying that in my editing, well, not my editing, but when I was looking over, when I was reading it, that it would probably be best if said author would go back and fix that. I was like, if it was just like, if it wasn't a major word, I wouldn't care. But the fact that this is the main idea of the story, it should be spelled correctly. But I don't make a big deal about it, like, I may tell them that if I see it, and, they can take it or leave it. I believe in constructive criticism. It was a short story. If it was like a huge novel, I probably would have said something but not expected anything out of it. But if it's a small, short story, which this was, I'd be like, oh, just, take it down for like 10 minutes and just fix those words and then just pop it back up again. It's very short work. But it depends on me. If I feel a correction is worth it, I will do it. But if I don't feel it's really worth the time that it's down, I probably won't. I am actually debating on redoing, not redoing in the sense of rewriting it, but reformatting one of the novels that I've already done. I'm not entirely sure I want to do it, but I might do it because I think it's fair. One, because I did find a mistake in there that really tripped me up and it bugged me. I don't think anybody else noticed, but it bugged me because I saw it. And then I'm like, do I really want to take the time to take down the ebook and the paperback and just go through that just for that one word? I'm like, no, I'm really not. Go ahead and find it and laugh at me for it. That's what you get out of it. If I just figure, it's not worth it for one word, there, have a free laugh at my expense. But as far as like, I have a very, very large book. It's like 800 pages. But the format I used was a double space and a 14-point font, which I do consistently do. I do 14-point font for everything I do so that it is large enough to be read easier. But now I use a 1.5 spacing. And the 1.5 spacing I find is better because there's enough space where it's easy to see the words, but it's not so big that I end up with another Midnight Selkie kind of thing. Midnight Selkie is 800 pages, but at the core it should have been about like a little less than 400. And, at first I'm like, okay, well, it's really big, large print. I think it was like it might have been a 14 font, but it could have been a 16 font and was double spaced. And I kept it that way for the publishing. And I keep thinking, do I really want to go through the trouble? And then I'm like, it's probably fair. So I probably will at some point reformat it so that it's a 1.5 spacing with a 14 font. It'll probably end up being quite less expensive. I didn't think about it much to begin with, but it's like now looking back on it, it's like maybe I should make it smaller. It will probably affect the price because it would take less materials. But yeah, I mean, if I decided, I'm just going to leave it that way forever, it's like, it feels unfair as a consumer. I would be upset if I had to pay so much money for a book that took way more material than it needed. And that's kind of where I'm at now. I wouldn't like it done to me, and looking at how I set up the Midnight Selkie, I don't think I like it. I mean, it started off okay. I was like, yeah, I'm going to make some money off of it. But then it's like, no one's going to buy it. It's too big for what it is. So I thought it would be fair to do that. So I probably will at some point. I don't know when. It could be this coming year. It could be 5 years from now. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But at some point, I probably will revise it. Maybe make it a like second edition or something like that, or I don't know. In which the older ones would be more valuable, but it would also be more fair for people who just want to read it and not collect. So yeah, I do think of that. You know, it's like I do want to get paid for what I do, but at the same time, I want to be fair. So I may end up doing that at some point. In which case, I figure if you don't want to spend the money for the paperback, the Midnight Selkie, I would say, you know, if you want a cheaper alternative, go for the ebook. The ebook is much better. It's already reformatted, so you don't have the big double space and the huge font. I think it's a 1.5 space on the ebook version. Because it doesn't look anything like the paperback version as far as how big it is. So it is smaller, it's more compact, and it is a cheaper price. So yeah, if you want to read that, if you want to read the Midnight Selkie, I would definitely say, you know, if you have an e-reader of any sort, get the ebook copy. If you want something that'll probably be valuable down the line, get the paperback copy, because that probably will be valuable down the line because it will be a discontinued thing eventually. So that's up to you. So much for brief, huh? So anyway, yeah, I've not done a whole lot of stuff as far as the Sim soap. Mostly we've been letting Shannon do it. So she does the Sims 3 thing. Sometimes, you know, if I'm already hosting a stream, I will just go ahead and let her do her thing, and I will upload her stream on mine because I'm the one already live. But most of the time, it is on hers. It's on her channel, and sometimes I'm there and sometimes I'm not. I know it kind of, they keep saying it kind of affects how entertaining it is. But they were doing that because I couldn't do what I normally do. But now I do want to say, I want to give them the shout out. Arachne, Sarius, and Shannon are all doing the Starbound thing, and I think I don't know if it's Arachne doing it or if it's Shannon doing it, but one of them is hosting it. I think it's Shannon because I think the last one I saw was hers. I think that was on her channel. The last thing I saw on her channel is the three of them are playing Starbound together. So if you enjoy Starbound or curious about that, you can go ahead and watch that on. I think it's Shannon's channel. I don't know if Arachne's hosting any. But I don't play Starbound, and I'm not interested in Starbound. So that's something that they can do when I can't really join in. So, but if you like that kind of stuff, you know, go check them out. I'll put a link or something. But yeah, if you like Starbound, watch them. That's something that they do without me when I can't join. And I don't think there's too much more. I finally finished my Christmas shopping. I know I was saying that, you know, oh, I'm almost done, I just got one more thing. It's like, no, I kind of forgot to do something, and now I truly am done. I just need to wrap these last few things, and it's all done. All the buying is done. The purchasing stuff is done. I finally got Pokemon Sun and Moon. Sun came first, and Chris was playing that. Now, I knew a lot of the stuff on, you know, some of the Pokemon and some of the new alternative types for older Pokemon and all that stuff. I knew all that because I was keeping up on it. But he wasn't really sure what to do, and I had to pretty much say, well, this is something that people were complaining about, but this was something other people liked, and I really didn't know what was going on. I've yet to play it. My copy of Pokemon Moon showed up, I've yet to play it. I've just not had the time nor desire to play it yet. But from what I've seen online and what he said, I need a lot of time. I need a lot of time to devote to starting it from the sound of it. And let me just tell you, I hated Pokemon Black, White, and Pokemon Black, White 2. I hated it. It was fun to play the actual game. The game was fun. Yeah, the game itself was fun, or at least Black and White, where I haven't really gotten far in Black and White 2. But I played Black on an emulator, and I have White for my 3DS. So the game itself is good. The story is interesting. The one thing I disliked was that it just felt like there was so much dialogue in the beginning. It's like, God, it just feels like it takes like a half an hour to an hour just to actually just go play the game, you know? And that was something that's actually the one reason I would not put Black and White 2 very high on my list of favorite Pokemon games because of that. I've actually I've not played a lot of the older ones. I played Fire Red, I think, but I played it on an emulator. And I don't know, I know that I've played a few of them on an emulator, but the emulator, of course, doesn't connect to anything, so you can't do tradings and stuff. Diamond, Pearl, and Crystal, I have not played. Soul Silver and Heart Gold, I've not played. I want to. We actually do have Crystal, Diamond, and Pearl. But I didn't. I got like maybe 3 minutes in. I'm just like, I can't do anything with it because of the way the transfer system works. And that's actually something I also dislike about, I think, Black and White, is it? There are just things that just don't work anymore that were integral to the game, or at least a big part of the game. And I can't really use the legendaries in other games because I have no way to transfer them. So I'm actually kind of hoping they do a re-release, an updated re-release like they did with Sapphire and Ruby. I'm not beaten XY yet either. I've gotten a ways into it, but for some strange reason I get bored partway through, and it's sad because it's a great game. But anyway, yeah. I hear that it's not gonna be until January till you can use the bank to transfer your Pokemon from Sun and Moon and bring your older Pokemon in or something like that. So I don't know what's all up with that because, like I said, I haven't actually played Sun and Moon yet. I probably will sometime, just not right away because I'm so busy with the holiday season and trying to get Akhenaten's Gates all uploaded before Christmas. It might be possible because I kind of want to take some quiet days. So I want to just find the motivation to do that. I found the motivation to record all the chapters, but I still want to edit all the chapters and get them up and do the whole Christmas thing. I've not done any art recently. I've not updated any art. I need to get on the ball for that. I don't know if there's going to be a Christmas painting this year. Normally for Christmas, definitely, but sometimes for other holidays like Easter or Halloween or something, I do a painting. I was going to do a Thanksgiving painting, but I ended up doing a birthday painting for Arachne instead. That still isn't finished. So there probably will not be a Christmas painting this year. Unless by some chance I think of something quick and cute, like for Halloween. Because Halloween I did the really cute, orange you glad it's Halloween thing. And that was pretty quick. So if I think of something quick and easy, I might do something, but I probably won't if it's going to be interesting. I probably won't be doing like the angel bunny. It was small, but it was still somewhat detailed. I don't think a whole lot of people come to my channel for art much anymore. I know some people do watch my videos, my speed paints, and they have commented on them. But I don't think a whole lot of my newer stuff. I don't know if a lot of people are watching my newer stuff. Um, but like I said, it's kind of like just for fun. Excuse me. So probably won't. I don't know what I'm gonna do for Christmas, but I do want to try and get the Akadon skates up, which I've said like several times now. I also did want to kind of show off Marilyn. Marilyn's getting a little big. Got a big personality. Very, very big personality. Very funny. I think Merlin thinks that she is a cat. Only because he seems to get along, not so much with all the cats together, but he seems to get along with Mirage very well, who's, I think, the youngest of my three cats. And he plays kind of hard, so it kind of scares me, but apparently, they get along together, so I just, kind of keep an eye on him, and I kind of keep Merlin close, or I keep Mirage close, so. Britzy really took to him, but Merlin hasn't quite taken to her yet. And she just likes to sniff at him and kind of play the mama. And Cherie's just very curious and gentle, so it's worked out. And this is like I said, great little personality. Actually, it's a great big personality. Very funny, very silly. A little bit of a diva. And pretty easy. I mean, as gentle and laid back as Merlin is, I was able to, clean out the tank with no problems. Doesn't really, doesn't fuss too much. Generally, the only time that he fusses when he gets frustrated. Doesn't get too frustrated, but he does throw horrible temper tantrums when we go to put him away. He wants to kind of stay and snuggle. He's never made a noise for me. So Chris says that he's made like a noise like a meow at him. But Merlin has never, ever, ever made a noise for me. Bitten me a few times out of frustration, the temper tantrum, but no hissing, no squeaking, nothing. So yeah, now I have to trick him into going back into his tank, or he's going to have a major temper tantrum. Very sociable though, very sweet, very, very simple. Hey, baby. So that's pretty much what's been going on here. The fires are in Tennessee now. I haven't gotten a whole lot of update on that. I know that it went to Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, but we've been okay here. There's still a burn ban here, but we've had several days of rain, which was great, except that it made me really, really sluggish. No snow yet. It's a little chilly now. I think it's like in the 50s outside. We had the heat on for a little bit until it got up into the 60s in here. Then we turned it off so we could cool down because it did get hot. Chris is in the upper room, so he gets sweated out. I know what that feels like because in another apartment like this, I was on the very top floor and I would get sweat out the entire winter too. So I have to keep that in mind when turning the heat on. But it made Merlin feel better. Merlin's been a little cold lately. And I think that's why he gets this huge temper tantrum when we try to put him back. Despite the fact that he has a heating pad, he has a very warm hide, he just wants to be snuggled up because I let off a lot of heat. I had the heating blanket, I had the hand warmers, I had the snuggies, I had the fleeces. So there's a lot of ways for him to get warm when he's attached to me. So putting the heat on, uh, not only did it sweat Chris out, but apparently sweated out Merlin too. So that's kind of a good thing because then the geckos need some warmth. And that was the one thing I was worried about is making sure it was warm enough throughout the winter. So probably in the evenings, do a short burst of heat so that the food stays alive instead of hibernating, and so he doesn't get so sluggish. I don't know if it's a boy or girl, probably female, but don't care. It's it's Merlin. Merlin's a Merlin. I think that's pretty much everything. Not much else. Did the Christmas thing. Did the doing the writing thing. I did start working a lot on Innocence. We did some data work for some of the world of Embry, which is the world that it takes care of. Been watching a lot of YouTube. That's pretty much it. So I guess until the next time I have a lot to say to y'all, happy holidays and stay safe and stay warm.